With House of the Dragon ended, Game of Thrones fans are itchy for something new to keep them busy. Concerning this, HBO is currently working on a sequel to Game of Thrones. Yes, there is absolutely a new World of Westeros movie coming out, and that should be a reason for you to lift up your hopes about a Game of Thrones sequel. Recent rumors have indicated that HBO has started development for a sequel to the Game of Thrones movie, with Snow as the working title. The sequel series is expected to continue from where Game of Thrones left off, while centering on the Jon Snow character and the wildlings who are mostly described as free folks. The series is expected to be set after the time of the White Walkers, with Kit Harington replaying his role as Jon Snow. From the time Game of Thrones ended, there have been interesting rumors about sequels to the movie. However, none of these rumors had any strong backing, since the only confirmed ones were actually prequels, which were meant to be set about a century before Game of Thrones took place. Casey Bloys, an executive at HBO, even debunked any rumors about a Game of Thrones sequel. In a rather interesting development, Emilia Clarke, the woman who acted as Daenerys Targaryen, might have just revealed the long-kept secret when she revealed that fans could expect a sequel which will center on the Jon Snow character. In line with this, the Jon Snow actor has openly shown his feelings on the new series. In fact, the whole idea of a Jon Snow sequel started from Kit Harington. In a blog post written by George R.R. Martin, the writer of the original novel on which Game of Thrones is based, he said the actor was the one who approached them with the idea. Kit has also reportedly already assembled his own team of writers who have already produced multiple draft scripts for the upcoming series. So you should probably keep in mind that Kit Harington is in very strong approval of the Snow sequel. That right there should give you a little bit of hope. Jon Snow was born to Rhaegar Targaryen, but his true identity was hidden from everybody, including himself, in order to protect him from the bad guys. He was known to everybody as a bastard. Game of Thrones ended with Jon Snow getting exiled from the land of Westeros and learning that Aegon Targaryen was his real name instead of Jon Snow, whilst learning that he could be a possible heir to the Iron Throne, the throne which the First Men sat on. He left his old life and traveled with the wildlings towards the north of the Wall. With HBO earning a profit of over $200 million per episode from Game of Thrones, there is no foreseeable reason why the company should not want a sequel to the movie. Also, the Jon Snow character is one that is very much loved by fans, and making a sequel that centers on his character should not be a decision that should be hesitated on. Kit Harington himself is as eager as the fans are for this sequel. If a Jon Snow sequel is officially confirmed, there is also a possibility of the return of some of the characters who ended in Game of Thrones, like Arya Stark, Sansa Stark, and Brienne of Tarth, to return to the series. Since Snow is still at the early stages of development, there is no certainty on when we will be watching it. However, you can bet that there's going to be a very long time of waiting before we finally get to see it. The first season of Game of Thrones took almost a year to film. Considering this, Snow could not be expected for at least the next 3 years, but it's surely no time soon. Even though a Jon Snow sequel has not yet been solidly confirmed by HBO, it is very obvious that fans are eagerly hoping for it and don't see any reason why the show should not come on. Among the people eagerly waiting for the show is George R.R. Martin. He is saying that he'll love to watch the show, but unfortunately that's not how it usually works. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the Jon Snow sequel? Is it worth it? Also, share any information you have about the Jon Snow series with us in the comments section.